This is the thing that we really want to emphasize. When you care about how you feel, your vortex will affect, it will cause, it will facilitate a manifestation. A manifestation that is seeable, hearable, smellable, tasteable, touchable. In other words, the manifestation hot on the heels of your alignment that you feel at first. So if you could just give up your need to see it before you believe it, and instead be willing to feel it and believe it before you see it. Esther had an image the other day of one of those big tractor things. There are all kinds of digger machines, but they have those wheels, those tracks. And she could see it dipping into the vortex and then causing a manifestation that, as she looked at the manifestation, caused her to get into the vortex. And because she's in the vortex, it affected the manifestation, and now she's viewing the manifestation, which caused her to get into the vortex. It was sort of like this cycle of alignment. The man on the tractor could not understand her captivation. Watching his wheel go around and round and round. Little did he know that it was a spiritual movement that she was having. Just understanding, because she's beginning to notice in a very powerful way that however she is feeling is affecting manifestation fast. Fast. What you feel affects manifestation fast. So if you're noticing something unwanted and feeling around it, it's affecting more manifestation fast. And you say, well, things aren't so good. Things could be a lot better. I don't like that, and I don't like that, and I don't like that, and I don't like that. And the universe says, well, then you're not going to like this, and you're not going to like this, and you're not going to like this, and you're not going to like this. And you say, right, I don't like that, and I don't like that, and I don't like that. I should call somebody. I should call somebody and ask them how they would like that, and that, and that, and that, and that. Because maybe if I drag someone else into my chain of pain, they'll take some of it and go off and bury it somewhere. And we say, no, that isn't the way it works. When you involve someone else, now you become more specifically focused upon what isn't wanted, which leads us to really what we think is the most important part of understanding how to connect with your vortex and how to stay in vibrational alignment with your vortex long enough that you begin to see the effect of the manifestations as quickly as now. Negative emotion is telling you two things. It's telling you first that you're not up to speed, but it's telling you something else really, really important that we so want you to hear. It's telling you you have expanded, the bigger part of you has expanded beyond where you're practiced. Don't you like knowing that? I have expanded beyond what I have learned to allow. Well, you know what that means? If you've expanded beyond what you have learned to allow, that means there's some good times coming to you, because the deliciousness of life, the true essence of life, the part of life that you call exhilaration or adventure, the part of life that you call passion, the part of life that you climb mountains for or that you get into new relationships for, the part of life that you were born for, the part of life that you love the most of all is that moving in the direction of the further expansion. And we really want you to hear us when we say moving in the direction of it, because moving in the direction of it is all that you're ever going to do, because you're never going to catch it. Oh. That doesn't seem right. I'm never going to catch up with who I am. Not really. Because there will always be more that will cause you to expand. And so, do you understand that the vibration of a question and the vibration of an answer are different frequencies? But the answer is born from the question. Do you understand that the frequency, the vibrational frequency of a solution is different than the frequency of the problem? But they are tied together in this vibrational wave. In other words, they are equal parts of the same concept. It's why humans talk about duality. We don't follow that conversation too fully because it takes you off on all kinds of wild goose chases. But it is so nice to know that you are constantly expanding and that everything you feel, no matter what, is about one thing and one thing only. It's about your personal, in this moment of the feeling, vibrational relationship with that expanded version. We are eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you. There is nothing off limits. There is no order of business in the sense that you don't need to orchestrate it. But there is an order of business in the sense that this gathering has gathered before you dragged your physical bodies here. In other words, you got this vortex going on, and we've been hanging around in it, and we know who you really are and what you really want. And so, as we're moving forward today, it is our knowing, and we want it to be your expectation, that whatever you've been pondering, whatever you've been focused upon, whatever it is you want to know, no matter how specifically you want to know it or how generally you've been focused upon it, to the degree that you have been wanting it and to the degree that you are vibrationally in alignment with it, you're going to get it here today. And everything that we've been saying in this little bit of time that we've spent together has been in vibrational preparation so that you are in a better place of more likely receiving the answers to the questions than you were when you first walked in the door. In other words, as we've been talking about this vortex from inside your vortex and you've been listening, you've come into vibrational alignment for the most part with who you really are. And so as this day unfolds, you're going to feel really, really smart. You're going to catch the subtle nuances that we offer. We're going to hatch new ideas today that have never been understood until all of the universe. We are on the leading edge, expanding, you see. And you're going to be right up to speed with it. And when you get home and back into your reality, people are going to say, what did you learn? And you're going to say, well, it was really, really good, but I can't explain it to you now. And part of the reason that you will not be able to explain it, maybe you will, but may not be able to explain it to them as fully as you're feeling it here today, is because you're going to come into alignment with who you really are, and the true knowledge of all that you are is going to be yours. We want you to taste the fullness of who you really are, in your brilliance, in your clarity, in your love, in your power of deliberate creation, you see. So, if you can come to the place where you savor the problem as deliberately and deliciously as you savor the solution, now you're rocking and rolling. Because you can't have a solution without a problem, and you can't have expansion without asking, and you can't ask without contrast, and you can't be alive without that. You can't be here in this physical format without life causing you to know more clearly all day, every day, what you would prefer. So you got that, didn't you? Sometimes over the years, Esther has said, as she's standing in a place not feeling so good, and as she's been listening to us long enough to know that the worse she feels, the better we feel. What's up with that? If you were really a non-physical entity that was worth its salt, you'd have empathy for me and you'd come over here and comfort me. And we say, that's the thing that you got to understand and accept and come to adore about your inner being. Your inner being takes the expansion and holds that place marker for you so that you can come into vibrational frequency with it. That's what guidance system is. Esther would say from time to time, Abraham, I think you should come over here and complain with me because you know I'm right. You know I'm justified in this complaint. And we say to Esther, we're not coming. Come over here. No, you come over here. Come over here. No, you come over here. And of course, through the years, she's discovered we never come. So what we want you to understand is that when you have anything going on that is not wanted, whether it is mild or severe, that the more specific you are, the more severe it becomes. And that the answer to breaking that pattern is to not try to jump into the pure positive, because you can't, but to get general. And we're talking generally negative. So as you begin speaking generally negative instead of specifically negative, then this spiral that's got a grip on you begins to lose its grip. And you begin noticing right away by the feedback that comes back to you. Two kinds of feedback coming to you: emotional feedback and manifestational feedback. We really want you to think of manifestational feedback as the best friend that you've ever had, because what manifests is reflecting where you are. What manifests is reflecting what you are creating. What you are creating. What you are creating. Not what happened to you. Not what happened to somebody else. What you are creating. What you are creating. What you are creating. What you are creating. It would be like driving down the freeway. Esther does it frequently. And those little bumps on the side of the road that quite often awaken Jerry from his nap, because he knows that something could be going terribly wrong when he hears those bumps on the side of the road. And it would be like just completely ignoring the side of the road. Oh, I know it says don't enter, that it's one-way traffic coming the other way, but what the heck? Odds are I'll do all right. I'm alert. And we say, you just don't want to play with fire like that. When negative emotion is present, it's letting you know that you have entered a minefield where the likelihood of you observing more things that are going to hold you and cause you to be more specific is very great. So you were following us earlier when we were talking about the problem creates an equivalent solution. You follow that? But they are different frequencies. So if you're fixated on the problem, you don't have access to the solution. Not right now anyway. So the more you focus upon any problem, the more detailed it becomes. In other words, you get focused up on a problem and it comes from every direction. Have you noticed? Standing in line with strangers and they're talking about the very problem. Oh, I can't believe you're saying that. That just happened to me. So as you are focused with greater and greater detail upon the problem begins to gain more momentum. Now, it's a wonderful thing. It's also causing the solution to gain more momentum, but you're not a vibrational match to the solution, so the crevasse, the gap between where you are and who you really are gets wider and wider, and you feel worse and worse. So the more detailed you get, the more specific you get about a problem, the more you hold yourself in vibrational opposition to feeling good and to the solution to your problem and to being who you really are. And so if you are set on specific detail of unwanted things, that's what's going to come back to you. So you're just sort of holding yourself in that spiral of knowing what you don't want and getting more of it, knowing what you don't want and getting more of it, knowing what you don't want and getting more of it. Now, of course, you're not just doing that. You're focused upon a lot of things that you do want. But mostly you're not doing very much of it on purpose. And the reason you're not doing very much of it on purpose is because most everybody you know, 99% of human population is offering your vibrational frequency in response to what you're observing. So if something good happens, you offer a good feeling response and you goose a little bit more of that into your experience. But if something bad happens, or if you see something unwanted, then you're filling your vibrational coffers with that, so to speak. Your inner being is not an idea. We would call it an inner idea. It's an inner being, an inner beingness. Your inner being bees. Your inner being is consciousness who bees. Consciousness who is life, who is eternal, who bees. So this inner being has taken all of the expansion that you've offered it through the living of life and is not holding back ever like you may be. So when you're beating the drum of justification or defense or rationalization, well, I feel this way because that happened to me and it shouldn't have happened to me, and that was an injustice that should not have happened, and so I'm just going to stand here in my righteous indignation and join others in my protest against the government or in my protest against this absurd policy that has just happened at work. Do you know they gave us a bonus and then they took it back? It's just ridiculous that they're making all that money and they're not giving nearly enough of it to me, and I'm working so hard and I don't think they are. That righteous indignation is justified maybe, and maybe everybody in your company and beyond would agree with you, but your inner being isn't agreeing with you, and that's the only agreement that is ever important to you. Your inner being stays in a place of positive expectation. No, not positive expectation, because expectation implies it is something yet to come. In positive beingness, because your inner being bees there and does not deviate from it. But when you aren't up to speed with your inner being, then you feel the deviation.